How's it going today, everyone? This is KaijuFanatic, your host, bringing you a brand new figure review. Obviously, we are looking at the SH MonsterArts Godzilla -1 figure. This review will be spoiler-free, so keep the comments spoiler-free as well, because we don't want to spoil any other fans that don't get a chance to see it. So, Godzilla -1, this figure's detail and paint is off the charts. I love the highlights. I love the weirdly, oddly colored patches on the figure that definitely don't have any reason, but definitely aren't Tamashii mishaps. I love the way it looks. I love the detail on this figure. Though, if I'm being honest, and I'll say it now, I think this figure looks better in low lighting than having my two high beam lights on him. I think he definitely, especially the paint on this version, gets bolstered by having the shadows, having the crevices. It helps make the details look sharper than they kind of do here. He does admittingly look a little flat, but I can tell you in hand he is one bumpy, sharp MF. And he is very, very nice. The highlights throughout the body, very, very cool. The feet have this kind of brown paint. It's a little inconsistent, but you could say maybe he was wading through some mud in the ocean, or, when he's attacking Ginza. Maybe that's what it is, and, that's kind of making an excuse for it, but at the same time, I feel like it's not too unrealistic. He's got it on the back as well, and look at those dorsal plates. I am blown away by how this figure looks. These dorsal plates might be the best thing on this figure. I gotta be honest, I love the way this figure looks. I love it, love it, love it. Look at the detail. Look at the heart and soul that went into this figure. It's just impressive. Yuji Sakai definitely put in a lot of effort into this figure. Here at the dorsal plates, they're beautifully detailed. The highlighting is very, very nice. A little inconsistent, but they kind of are in the movie as well. And they just keep going on forever. This is easily one of the most spikiest Godzillas, even down to the tail. Though here at the tail, as you can see, there's about 2 or 3 sections of tail that aren't quite the same color as the rest of the mold. And it is definitely a little distracting. Bad Tamashii, bad Tamashii. But when Tamashii is doing good, like here on the back with this highlighting, it's good. It's very, very nice. I'm loving the way this figure looks, and it feels, it's detailed, and it doesn't have too much Sakai, how do we want to say, improv. He really did seem to stay in the 3D mold, and that really, really excites me. It makes me happy. Let's look at this tail a little bit closer. There's one of the other pieces that aren't the same color. You can see it almost looks wet. That's just that piece, and then that second one there before the base as well has it a little bit more on the other side. But let's get a nice big close-up at these dorsal plates. Look at all the detail. Look at how the dorsal fins are plugged into him like roots like your teeth. That is how your teeth look under your gums, except in a little different shape. But it's really, really cool that they stuck to that, and it's very, very nice. The tail here, I'm just giving you guys angles. I really want you guys to see this figure for mostly what it is, and what it is good. I feel like a lot of the hate that this figure has gotten is not warranted, and that's coming from a guy who's not a real big fan of MonsterArts in general, besides the Shin figures and, a few one-offs. But this is definitely one of the better looking figures. Look at all that highlighting. Look at the mouth. Yes, I got a lucky one. I don't have any bleed on any of my teeth. It looks really good. And look at the detail. You can see the end of his throat in there. Just absolutely impressive. Now, this Godzilla has a really cool special feature. These top 3 fins actually articulate to make space for Godzilla's head to move back. It's very, very nice. It's a unique feature. You can even pull them out if you want. I have seen photos. I'm personally not going to do it. I'm just going to articulate them the little bit that I can, and that'll be it. Speaking of articulation, the articulation on this figure is a slight step back. There are many things that are not as good as they probably should have. Now, I did mention that the dorsal plates moving back is a nice touch. Yep. And then you know what they went and did? They made the head limited as hell. It is tight. It does not move. That's as far down as it goes. The jaw opens really nice and wide, and the gums actually are a feature. They go back into the skull. Oop, I got a little dog hair there. I apologize. But the head and neck area are super, super tight. The top one, as you can see there, I'm struggling to push it, and it does not move very much. I am afraid it could break. I haven't seen anyone mod it, try to take it off, try to loosen it. Maybe it's just a tight joint, but I think it is consistent through all of them. Really disappointing there. But one thing they kind of did improve was the ab crunch. It crunches over quite a bit. Like, look, that's almost like GMK. And then when you're watching the dorsal plates so they don't break, and you lean him mostly forward, he can stand up pretty straight as well. It's not perfect, but it's better than most. The arms are surprisingly a bit better than what I was predicting. They go out about that far, about 45, but they can go up almost all the way up. It does stop there. There's something physically blocking it, so don't try to spin it. And then physically stopped right there, but that works with that roaring pose that we see in the trailer. The biceps turn, which is pretty cool. The elbows are double jointed, so on this arm here, that top joint is locked, but the bottom joint there is also a ball peg, and that's the loose one, and then the other arm is the opposite, where the top works, but the bottom one doesn't work. It kind of works as an additional bicep. The arms are on ball joints as normal. The left hand on mine has popped off once. The thighs on this figure are actually pretty impressive. They can go out that far, and they can go back out that far. Just watch your detail. Also, I'm going to throw up a little video here showing him doing the splits. Very, very nice. The knees don't really do much. Don't even need to talk about them. And same thing with the ankles. I have seen people move theirs a bit more, so I'm guessing mine are just tight. So be very wary when doing it. The right ankle moves a little bit more, but not much. I will say that is overall a very common thing with my figure, that it's very tight. Now, he does have toe articulation. This foot is the one that if one of these toes were to break, it'd be that foot. So let's switch over here to this other one. They go really far up. Very, very nice. Look at that. And then they can go down. Well, the big toe can go down a lot. The two smaller ones, not quite as much. But if you're really into animation, you can really make it look like he's walking. If you can figure out a way to finagle those thighs. Now, the tail is a step back. It is. Regrettably, it is. Which kind of works because these dorsal plates clashing with each other is a big worry. It does go out to the side pretty damn well. Once again, my joints are very tight. It's got a pretty good swing upwards, kind of like the Monster King. And then the tip of the joints can come down. I don't show it here, but they can come down, kind of like the tail's waving. It is pretty nice, but like I said, the joints are really tight on mine, so it doesn't work as well as it should. Now, you can lay it flat, or mostly flat at least, and then raise his head up. Boom. You got that scene in the movie we saw from IGN. If you're spoiler-free, there is a slight swimming. Now, before we get into size comparisons, here is a few spots on your figure that you're going to want to look out for so you don't break any dorsal plates, because I'm telling you, these are very fragile. Just watch these areas that I'm photographing for you right now when you're articulating and moving it, so you don't end up with a broken SHMA -1. Okay? Okay. Now, for size comparisons, here he is with the last of my MonsterArts collection, MonsterArts Shin Godzilla Form 2 and 3, and 4th Form Shin. He's definitely smaller than Shin, which looks nice, and taller than the other two. Here he is with the Bandai Theater exclusive Movie Monster series, Blue Sparkly Godzilla. Very, very impressed with how these two look. Shinkoho Seiho Ultraman 66, and the Robot Spirits Evangelion movie 4.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time renewal version. Very, very tall. Here he is with the latest Maru-san 350 Godzilla 1999, just to show he looks pretty good with Safubi as well. To sum up this figure, is it the best? No. Is it overhated? Yes. It's not quite as good as Kiryu and Destroya and a few others in the line, but I definitely think this is right up there in the top 10 for sure. I'm very fortunate to have a copy that had pretty good eyes and really good teeth. So my final score for this figure is a resounding 8 out of 10. I do recommend picking this guy up, but wait until the US distribution is here in the States, which is probably going to be January, February, or wait until Japan reissues this. Definitely don't pay the almost $200 that I'm seeing on Bai. It's not worth that much. Even with the hype, this figure isn't worth that much. So, if you haven't already, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. Thank you guys for all your support. As I always say, peace, rock on, stay safe. Remember to go to Collect All Monster Collectors. Join the discussion with 2,000 other wonderful Tokusatsu collectors and fans. And I'll see you guys in the next video.